Um, do you think this Haight-Ashbury scene is sort of like Greenwich Village a few years back?
I was never in Greenwich Village, so I don't know. All I know is that this particular scene here is interesting in some ways that no other scene I've ever been in is. It for one thing, the community here like really is concerned about itself and really takes care of itself. Like there are fees, there are like funds being set up to pay for lawyers for the kids that get busted down on the street here. You know, from just anybody. Like you could be spending a weekend in San Francisco and be out on the street and get arrested and thrown in jail. And if you don't have any money or don't know anybody in town, you're in bad trouble. So we're setting up an attorney thing. You know, so there'll be an attorney on call for anybody who gets busted.
Is that right?
Like a couple of Sundays ago, everybody in the whole Haight-Ashbury, everybody who lives out here, went out to the streets, down to Haight Street with buckets and brooms and mops and stuff, and like cleaned up the street.
Yeah, really?
Sure, because the city won't do it, so we'll do it ourselves. And that's the way we feel about it. Like if the city won't do it, or the government won't do it, or the cops won't do it, or somebody won't do it, we'll fucking well do it ourselves. Because we're all like, we're in a position where we're responsible. Because we've chosen to be, not because we've inherited it. You know, we started all this from nothing, just people moving in, and decided to let's get a little bit friendly and let's get a little bit closer together and let's just see what we're trying to do. And what we're trying to do is like live a good life and have things happen in a good way, and not put anybody uptight, you know, or not scare anybody, and not make any enemies with anybody.
But as far as creativity goes, outside of music, really, there hasn't been that much going on.
Well, there never is activity, and there is a lot of creative activity. It's not always on levels that you can observe it. Because there are different trends happening now in the things that we used to call the arts. For example, the guys that 6 or 7 years ago, if you were a painter in San Francisco, you never sold anything. You never sold any paintings because nobody in San Francisco buys paintings. There's no place to sell them. Painters can't make any money. But a guy with a light show can make money. The guys with the light shows now are the guys that were painters a few years ago, and they're finding out something new about color and about the eye and about spontaneity. You know, those are all aspects that the plastic arts have never had before. Poster design and printing and those kind of things, skills, you know, and all these posters here, they're the product of a lot of people's work, and that means a lot of people in this area are working at something, are getting some kind of return from it. The people who run the dance halls are doing a thing. The people who are being managers and businessmen for everybody are doing a thing. There's really a lot going on. A lot of people are opening stores. You know, see, like, not everybody is an artist, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody is a creative person, but not everybody has to be a bookkeeper or a businessman in order to make it. They can, like, get into something that turns them on a little and find some way to help it, you know, find some way to do a thing with it. Like, with our scene here, we've managed to employ just about everybody we know in some capacity or another because everybody has something they can do. And that's kind of what everybody's trying to do. Like, we're not trying to make everybody an artist or inspire the creative element in everybody, but we're trying to make it so that nobody has to fucking worry about it or sweat about surviving. You know, if you wanna like not work for a year so you can try your hand at writing or try your hand at painting or something like that, maybe this will soon be a situation where you'll be able to do that, and that would be mighty nice.
You have a job for Kramer, he wants to be an artist. You know, someone told me that they read in the Chronicle or something that said Jerry Garcia, and then it said member of the Hells Angels or something like that.
I don't know about that. I'm not a member of the Hells Angels, although I see a lot of them and they come around pretty frequently.
How do they strike you?
I like them. They're honest and they're out front and they don't lie to you and they don't you know, they're okay. They're good people. They're brutal. But only, you know, their brutality is really only honesty. It's not, you'd have to know a few of them. They're kind of like the cops, in a way. They have very heavy standard, you know, of what they do and what's right.
But according to what you said before, brutality isn't what you...
No, but I'm not talking, their kind of brutality, that's their scene, that's not my scene. You know, they're also capable of not being brutal. And like I say, they're honest, you know, like in their dealings. And they can be depended upon in a funny way. Like when they had the scene up here, the Be-In, you know, there were so many people. I'd never seen so many people in my life.
Yeah.
Really, there were, you know, it was really fantastic.
Yeah.
I just didn't believe it almost. It was a totally underground movement. It was all the people who were like into dope of any sort, you know, marijuana or LSD, whatever. And everybody turned out in the park, some 20,000 people, really a lot of people.
Yeah.
And everybody was having a good time, everybody was smiling, there was nothing going on, but there was no violence, there was no hassling. And the Hells Angels were, well, one of the things that happened was somebody came along and cut the lines to the PA and the electricity. We were using big generator trucks, you know, and sound equipment. And they got some guys just got together and repaired it, and the Hells Angels guarded the wire, and they took care of the lost kids, you know, they babysat, they did all kinds of shit. They, you know, because they you know, you can hit on them to do stuff like that, and they'll do it. You know, like we're hiring a couple of Hells Angels to guard our warehouse now that this stuff has been stolen, and they'll do it. They'll do it good, you know.
Well, if I were to go up to them and ask them to do something like that, they'd probably
right.
pound me into the ground.
Right.
Why?
They might not pound you into the ground. I don't know why. I don't know why they do what they do. I know that they're making a big change. That they're different now than they used to be.
Toward more or less brutality.
Less. Toward less. I mean, they're hanging out in this scene, and they're getting out of their brutal bags, and they're getting to just like taking it easy a little.
Do you think that they see what you guys are doing and that you're...
Well, they know that we're all doing the same thing, and what we're all doing is saying we don't want the world the way you've got it, you know, the establishment. We don't want all the stuff that you're offering us. We don't want to be successful. We don't want to be super rich. We don't want to be businessmen. We don't want to buy insurance. We don't want to do any of that shit. We just want to have a nice quiet life and like have a few good times.
But the Hells Angels are looking out for good times with violence and...
Not necessarily, you know, like when they fight and hassle, they mostly do it among themselves.
Well,
that's
if I
their
went up to
scene. They
one
can do it if they
pound
want.
in the ground, I'd feel pretty bad.
That's true, but you know that you don't go talking to the Hells Angels like that, right? You know you wouldn't put yourself in a position where you get pounded into the ground
Well,
by
I
Hells
hope
Angels.
not, but I mean,
Well, I'll tell you this, man, that you can put your mind at ease about, like, one of them's not going to come out of the clear blue sky and pound you. They'll do it if there's a reason for it.
well, what if there's 4 or 5 of them, and the reason is they want to do it? No, because they
Well,
like have
that's
some fun.
all I can say is that's a hypothetical situation. They
But
don't
it
have.
happens though. I mean, you read it. Okay, maybe there are stories.
It is. Most of it is stories. Like the Hells Angels that I know might very well beat the shit out of me sometime, but I'm not going to worry about what they're going to do sometime, because when they're here or when they come around or when I see them or something like that, they're good guys. They talk to me directly. They don't fuck around with me. They did.
Yeah.
Too much. Where'd they find it? Where'd they find it?
They found it down the street. You know, the landlord at one of the places.
Incredible.
There you go.
Everything?
Oh, well, they're going down to the police station now to find out.
Too
What
much.
luck.
Too much.
What luck.
Oh man, that's fucking amazing.
I know.
Hey, we'll have a story to tell Bill when he gets back. He yarned us in.
Oh man.
Hey, Bill, your drums took a trip up the alley and back down to the police
Incredible.
station.
That's far out.
But we still gotta have somebody living down there.
Mm-hmm.
Matthews is the pretty.
Mm-hmm. Who wants to know?
No thanks.
So anyway, if I had a warehouse and I asked these guys, you know,
Well, as a matter of fact, listen. Here's another similar scene that happened. We once played a job at a ski shop, a very plush ski shop on North Beach. Super rich, all kinds of really rich ski crowd people, you know, jet setters and what have you, were there. John Baez was there and stuff like that. And the guy who owned the ski shop hired 2 Hells Angels to guard the door.
Yeah.
to make sure nobody got in without an invitation. And they did it fine. And then the guy took us all out to dinner, us and the Hells Angels and everybody else out to dinner down around the corner at Original Joe's or one of those places. And we walked in there and, you know, knots of tourists split in horror. You know, and this juiced attorney, San Francisco attorney, came over and clapped us all on the back and said, "I'm glad you folks are there." Crazy enough, yeah, right. You're right. He bought us all wine and, you know, stuff like that. And he was really delighted as an old San Franciscan because of the fact that there was, at last, there was some little thing that he could talk about or look at, or some, you know, somebody was taking a fucking chance on the streets, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, if you actually seriously ever wanted to do a thing, you could hire Hells Angels to guard the door for you or something like that. You can do it. They'll do it.
I'll give you a call first and you can hire them for me, and then, yeah. Well, I mean, I've talked to a couple and they were just, I mean, I've seen them around and they, I mean, you know, why should they go around pounding people?
They don't want any trouble. They just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
And just like everybody else does, really. You know, they just don't want to be hassled and stuff like that. And nobody gets hassled like by the police or stuff like that more than the Hells Angels do. They bring it on themselves in a way.
Yeah, true.
But just the same, if you wear a Hells Angels jacket and maybe have a beard and long hair and wear dark glasses and ride around in a chopped Harley, that doesn't mean you're going to kill or rape somebody. It means you're different looking. There's no reason why somebody should hassle you, right? I mean, it's just because you take an extreme stand doesn't mean you should get shit for it, as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah. But so many people, when they see someone with long hair, the description you just gave, that's what they think.
Right,
Because
or like the man on the street,
Because
more
people
often than
look
not
like-
will try and pick a fight with him or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, smart punk, you know. And then they're asking for trouble.
Oh, brother. Anybody who...
I mean, a drunk could be just as, you know, dangerous as Hells Angel.
Right, and so can your mother in her car driving on a Sunday afternoon, as far as that
That's
goes.
true.
You know, I mean, like, you can't worry about what might happen, or you can't, you know, the whole thing about danger and stuff like that is like, you know, danger, after all, makes life a little more exciting, I think. I certainly wouldn't exclude anybody, again, behind the fact that they seemed violent, or could potentially be a menace or something, you know.
Well, if the Hells Angels started swinging at you, what would you do? Would you
Well,
turn
I'll tell
back?
you this, I don't know, I'd probably split, I'd run for it.
Yeah.
But I would be less afraid of a Hells Angel swinging at me than I would be a Marine, for example.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
In fact, at a couple of
Jerry,
intervals.
that you look like a, or they look like you. I mean, you just described, you know.
Right,
Hells
that's
Angels.
because, like I said, we're in something together. After all, the Hells Angels and I have something in common. We both smoke some dope, you know, occasionally. And we both are rejecting something, you know. But we want to be left alone. We don't want to hassle anybody. So the Hells Angels get along fine with me. I get along fine with them. The ones I've met.
Well, why? What exactly are you rejecting? I mean, you want everything to go. I mean, you know, you want things to go all right.
All I'm rejecting are ideas.
What's wrong with ideas? You get ideas.
I'm not rejecting all ideas. I'm only rejecting certain ideas. I'm rejecting the ideas that say that any country has the right to do anything weird to any other country. Hey, it's a big old Epiphone.
Crunchy.
Crunchy style Epiphone.
Come on, Garcia.
Wait a minute, honey.
Come on. Shoot this cookie right out of here.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Got it.
I
Oreo.
reckon you probably would have got it.
You win the Oreo. Close.
That would mean yours?
Yeah.
Wow. Done it,
How about you?
Yeah, sort of here today, gone tomorrow, fella.
Well, I don't
Or
know.
don't you sort of like living, kind of?
I love it.
I can't quite figure out what's going on
I must say, I love it.
No, but as you were saying something about rejecting what? Ideas.
Rejecting
What
certain ideas. Well, the obvious ones, the ones that everybody's rejecting. You know, the ones that say that I can or can't do something, or that somebody can, that some collective organization can go around killing people in my name, right?
Yeah.
But
if there weren't some of these rules, what about people that would go around killing, robbing, taking stuff of yours?
I don't believe there's a need for any of that shit, is what I'm saying.
How's your ass?
I don't believe that there's a need for me to have any more than anybody else
I'm not sure
has.
what it is. It is
You think people, don't you think people have that nature in them to rob, steal, kill?
They obviously must because it happens. I'm not talking about the robbing, stealing, and killing. I'm talking about the. I'm talking about genocide, and war, and.
That's
Oh,
bad
you've
business.
got into play.
I think so.
But isn't killing and robbing bad business? It's gotta be.
Yeah, I'd say it's bad business, but it's also a little bit different of a matter. If the guy.
How about,
It's a really like an existential
how about,
point.
it's his responsibility alone, he's taking it all.
Right. Yeah, if you decide to kill somebody, it's you deciding you're going to kill the guy. It's between you and the guy.
And whether you're
When
up or
somebody
not,
tells
it's
when
up to
somebody
you.
tells you to kill somebody in the name of something else, then it's a responsibility for you to say, I'm going to go along with this and kill the guy. Then you're making a decision to do something weird.
Yeah.
You're doing it not for yourself, you're doing it for something that you think might be going on. I couldn't do it. I couldn't kill somebody for anybody else.
Well, if there was a person who could kill someone for themselves, do you think they should be stopped? Do you think they should go ahead?
Well, it would be nice to make it so that killing wasn't a solution to anything anymore.
Yeah, but you can't do that, can you?
Maybe you could. I don't know that you can.
Yeah. But
I'm
until
sure that
there's
there might be a way to do it.
found, there has to be some rules which have cops, they've got to be around. And
I have no
not-
objection, like I say, I have no objection to the cops either. It's like, what can the cops do to me? They can lock me up, When it gets to where the cops can start killing me, that's another matter. Then I'll start worrying about the cops.
Yeah.
The whole cop thing doesn't scare me or doesn't worry me or put me uptight or anything like that. I think cops are okay. They could do their thing differently. They don't have to be. They don't have to be cops all the time.
Yeah, take a little pot now and then.
Well, I'd feel better about it if the cops were also heads.
Yeah. Well, what do you get out of it mostly? Do you play better under dope by any chance?
No.
Would you just?
No, but sometimes I feel better.
But it doesn't take your ability away.
No, I don't. Not unless you get completely wasted. But I sort of believe in moderation in all things. I don't believe in getting in being obliterated.
Yeah.
I believe in if you want to have something that makes you feel a little better and gives you a slightly different outlook than your normal one, that it's your own business, not anybody's business but yours.
As long as it doesn't
Right,
infringe
as long
on
as-
anybody else's
Right,
rights.
as long as it doesn't infringe
why
upon
not?
anybody or hurt anybody or anything like that. With the playing, we've sort of experimented with it. Like some drugs you can play well on, some you can't play well on. Some do things to your sense of time, but the only way we'd ever found out about any of this would be to try it.
Well, when you recorded your record, how were you?
We smoked grass most of the time. That's fairly common. Everybody does it. Rolling Stones, everybody does it. We hear some
Yeah,
amazing stories about all of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I don't want to, but that's that's what we would do when we were practicing, or that's what we do for a gig or anything like that. It was no different than our normal situation. Grass is so much like an everyday thing. It's not like you don't get wasted on it or anything like that. You just
What about LSD and the Captain Tripp thing?
that's a whole other matter. We've played on acid as well, and that does do things to your time sense, and it does other things. It produces a lot wider scope, like an unimaginably wider scope of ideas that are available to you.
Do you think a lot of your ideas come from these?
No, they just helped what was already there. They just made us more conscious of what was already there, what was potentially there. And more consciousness means you have more of an understanding of what you're doing. Having more of an understanding of what you're doing means that you can do it better, because you're doing it with that much more of your mind.
But you'd never go to Alton or Fillmore on acid, would you?
Not anymore. We used to.
But
I wouldn't do it anymore because because we're in a different position now than we were a year ago. You know,
Mm.
like at this point, the experimentation that we were doing is not a matter of drug experimentation. We're experimenting with music within music. You know, the drugs part, everybody takes drugs. That's for another matter. That's like from my personal scene in my head and how I feel my attitudes toward things. And like if it's just a chance to like unload, or
Yeah.
just take a good look at who you are and what you're doing, and feel reassured about it, or decide that it's time to change yourself or whatever.
Have you always been like this during bluegrass too?
Sure. Same thing. Except in those days we're all much cooler about it because it was really scary. I mean, like you get arrested for it.
Yeah.
Those days, everybody
But
quieter about it.
It's becoming more common and people are getting more educated about it.
Right.
Especially,
Where'd you get that thing?
I found a really interesting thing that's about this Anslinger guy who's on all these committees.
Right.
Do you think it'll ever get legalized? Do you think people ever get smart?
I don't know if it'll ever get legalized, but I do believe that the legal hassle about it will diminish greatly. In other words, the laws might not be taken off the books,
But they'll be.
but it's likely that the cops will. Yeah, right. Because they're overlooking it a lot now. They can't help it. There's so much grass. There's so many people smoking grass that if they were to bust people, everybody who they found smoking grass, there wouldn't be room for anybody.
Yeah.
The jails would be jammed.
Sure.
And like
Grass is fun.
yeah, the penal institutions and shit like that have been sending out letters to the cops and stuff like that. No more, we don't want any more grass people. It's just ridiculous.
They don't hurt anybody anyway, so.
No, right. I mean, and except for that one thing, nobody's a criminal. Nobody I know is a criminal, except for dope. And that makes us all criminals. So we're all criminals.
Yeah.
We'll stay criminals until somebody says you're not criminal.